we've got a fun AFC West Thursday Night Football matchup here for you with the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders battling out on Thursday Night Football for Amazon Prime. And I really feel bad for Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels once again because let me just go back and confirm here. The Raiders had a good defensive game against the Vikings, allowing only 3 points. But their offense allowed less points at 0. And the Chargers didn't do them any favors. So between these two teams in Week 14, only 7 points scored. But actually, I think the biggest thing that we're going to talk about here is which injury is going to have the bigger impact to each team. Justin Herbert, it is confirmed now he fractured his right index finger, so his throwing finger. I'm not a doctor, but I am going to guess that he will not be able to play. It's probably done for the year. When he fractured his finger earlier in the season, it was his non-throwing hand, so he can kind of fight through it. But then that being said, though, Josh Jacobs also for the Raiders left the game with a knee injury in the fourth quarter. And actually, now that I pose that question, Ryan, the Raiders are one of the worst running teams in the entire league. So losing Josh Jacobs doesn't really do them like.
Well, it still hurts. I mean, we kind of saw in the beginning of their game against the Vikings that he was being used more as a threat in the passing game. Was it translating to points on the scoreboard? No, but he was being utilized in more ways than just running the football specifically. And so I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what they do with the rest of the backs on their roster. But yeah, losing a guy like Josh Jacobs definitely doesn't help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Well, and both these teams are sitting at 5-8 now, and this was essentially, I would say, for both these teams like that, the Week 14 was the first round of the playoffs. There, their Chargers going up against the Broncos and couldn't really do much against even the Broncos. It's like they only put up 24 points, and that's not a lot in today's modern day NFL. But that being said, the Broncos looked pretty solid, and I think. It's a couple things for me with the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, and I'll just say they are decimated with injuries, and then now even I had Justin Herbert. But even then, though, too, it's just still this team is just not good, and there's so much talent on the team. And I know we've talked about it a bunch. I think actually probably majority of this channel is talking about Brandon Staley, but I think this is probably going to be the nail, like this is gonna be the nail in the coffin,
the final nail in the coffin.
They're not gonna make the playoffs here. They haven't decimated with injuries, yes, but defensively they're not that great. Luckily, they're going up against a Raiders team with an inexperienced quarterback and struggling offensive line to protect them. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes overall. But
the other thing with Brendan Staley for me, sorry not to cut you off, but it's just the incessant going for it on fourth down in situations where it's just not necessary and putting your defense in a bad situation. They went for it on fourth down, I think, in the middle of the second quarter on 4th and 1 at midfield, got stuffed. And then I think 3 plays later, the Broncos scored a touchdown to put their first touchdown on the board, or maybe their second touchdown to go up 14-0. But to me, it's just the coaching blunders like that. I always feel like they have no timeouts left at the end of the game just because they get used on miscommunications and people not being in the right spot or plays not being ready. And I just think it's time for a clean split for both those organizations. One of the things that I think is interesting is this is going to be a pretty heavy coaching free agency class, I guess you could call it. I think Bobby Slovic, Ben Johnson are 2 prime offensive coordinators. I forget his name, but the offensive coordinator in Chicago is going to be another guy. I think Bill Belichick actually might be up for a new head coaching position. Ron Rivera is another really experienced one if you want to go with guys with a little bit more credibility. And so there's a lot of big, highly touted names, probably 5 or 6 guys that could come in and really put a whole new voice in the franchise. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Chargers do here.
I honestly would think I'd love to see kind of internally. I mean, all the names that you mentioned there, I think would be very interesting to see. I think Belichick is going to retire. I don't think he's going to go try and find a new spot. But either way, though, I think that would be interesting. But I almost kind of want to see them hire internally. I would love to see Kellen Moore maybe get a shot here. I'd be curious to hear what Chargers.
Actually, he's one of the guys I think that would be up for a position, for a head coaching position. So that, and then what's the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator's name? He's done a fantastic job with very little on that offense.
I'm blanking on it, to be honest here.
Yeah.
But yeah, even today, though, it is starting to get to the point, though, where I feel bad for the Chargers a little bit just because of how injured they are. But even then, though, it still is before Justin Herbert got injured. They seem to just not have it. They seem to have it. A lot of it then, too, a lot of injuries as well. It looks like they are starting to move on from Austin Eckler as he was starting to split carries with Joshua Kelly and Isaiah Spiller. I'm pretty sure that's his name. So, but the storyline for the week for the Chargers is going to be Justin Herbert. I'm fairly confident, and we're recording this as of Sunday night. This will be coming out Monday afternoon. But I'm fairly confident he will not be playing. But also, I'm not a doctor. So talk to your doctor for any medical advice. I'm supposed to say that on YouTube. But when it comes to the Raiders, though, I think the Vikings showed the blueprint on how to stop Aiden O'Connell. And one is just rush forward. It's just to keep rushing as many guys as you possibly can, just because that offense the entire day. It got to a point watching that game because I watched most of that game where it was kind of like you see a bad car wreck and you're like, ooh, I just have to keep watching this. I just have to keep watching it. And to be fair, too, the Raiders defense did play really well. They got Josh Dobbs out of the game, and they got Justin Jefferson out of the game also, but that was for a different reason. But I think Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson in that defensive front has played well all year. The linebacker, Spillane, what's his first name?
Robert Spillane.
Robert Spillane, stud. I mean, he seems to be flying all around the field. So defense actually is coming together quite nicely, I feel, for the Raiders, which I think will be unique going into 2024.
I still think they could use like a corner or something in the draft, but I do like what they've done. That's obviously not their primary need.
Well, and that's where we're sorry. We even had our prep, like our 2024 sales prep, Tracy Take sales prep, the first ever, looking out for the year, and like we're trying to plan out our videos, and so we're starting to scout for 2024 also. And looking at it where the Raiders are falling, it's like, man, Jaden Daniels is fitting right there. But that being said, though, my Falcons are also now right behind you guys, and we need a quarterback also. So that's for a separate video. But I think Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman and just everybody actually looking at him, and you've even said it for the longest of time, but I think he could be a top 10 pick. I can see him being in that 6 to 7 pick range that a team like the Raiders could go after. And imagine then now Jaden Daniels on that team. Let's say they keep Devontae Adams, they don't trade him, they bring on Jacoby Myers, which I'm pretty sure he signed a multi-year contract with them.
Yeah, well, but he doesn't have any guaranteed money after this year. But still, they have him for 3 years.
He actually looked decent. He's looked decent to me so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously Devontae Adams is their best receiver. He has looked all the part of like a 1B receiver.
Yeah.
There.
Well, and then I really like Michael Mayer, who's their rookie tight end from Notre Dame. I think he still needs to but he's your 3-down tight end. But I think you get him, you look at that offense. I need to do some more analyzing, but that'll be a very unique offense if they get a guy like Jaden Daniels or just any other quarterback that could throw the ball. But let's move on, though, to predictions here for this exciting Thursday night football game. Once again, sorry, Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels. But if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we have a unique goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. It's unique because it's not an even number. The reason why we have that number is if we hit that number, we would have gotten 2,000 new subscribers in this calendar year alone by New Year's Eve. So help us reach our goal. Help join our channel. We love chatting with you guys. So like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And Ryan, who do you have winning this game and why?
So I feel like this is going to be another 3-0 type of football game, just given these offenses. But I honestly have no idea. I want to pick the Chargers just because I think that they lead the league Khalil Mack is the league leader in sacks. I think they can get after Aiden O'Connell while still dropping 7. I actually think the Chargers defense isn't that bad, and it's not nearly as decimated as the offensive side of the ball. But I just think you look, Easton Stick, he played okay. He drove them. He had one long touchdown drive for them against the Broncos defense. But this Raiders defense, I mean, they're legit, and I really think that they could put them in some optimal chances to score. So I feel like I'm going to go with the home team here. in this one and go with the Las Vegas Raiders, just because I think Aiden O'Connell is a little bit more established than Easton Stick. I think their weapons are definitely healthier, and I think they have the better overall defense in this matchup. So,
okay. I am about 8 games behind you in our overall yearly competition, and man, I was really hoping you'd go with the Chargers because I've been much more confident with my Raiders pick. But this isn't going to be one of the games where I'm just going to just go against you just to try and help me out. I also think the Raiders are going to win this game as well. The Chargers to me, I think, are just so decimated with injuries, and now even with Justin Herbert, I mean, you don't even have Joey Bosa. I used your
Joey Bosa
little thing. San Francisco. That's how you remember Nick Bosa.
Yes.
Yeah. So even with Joey Bosa out, which that was a couple weeks ago, I know he's on IR. I don't believe
he's still on IR. He was put on IR before the Patriots game, which was
12. Yeah, so this would be week 15. So this would be the last week. His 21-day window could open up. But honestly, if they lose this game, they probably just rest for the rest of the year. But I'm also going to go with the Raiders here. The Vikings defense, I just don't think they have that mentality. Or the Chargers don't have that Vikings defense mentality of like just blitz, all out blitz. While the Chargers, though, still even then have one of the worst passing defense, giving up one of the most yards on the season here. And I think Adams, Kobe Myers, Michael Mayer, Hunter Renfrow as well. You kind of forget about him, but he's still a solid receiver in my mind. I think that they'll just be able to slowly pick the Chargers defense apart for like I'll go 17-7 victory.
Yeah, I'll go 13-6. I don't think the Chargers get it in the end zone.
Nice.
And they just kick a couple field goals there. So
nice.
It's going to be a horrible game. I feel bad, like you said, for Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels, right? And they do Thursday night. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. And again, if you guys have not subscribed, please go ahead and smash that button down below. Help Tyler and I reach our goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers by the end of the year. And while you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this Thursday night matchup. Is it going to be the Los Angeles Chargers? Is it going to be the Las Vegas Raiders? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.